to the sun.
Okay, welcome to this video. We're moving on to whatever is gonna happen now. I have absolutely no clue. The last videos have been genuinely hectic and weird, and I don't know what to think anymore.
Luthor squeezed the watch. Hey, tell me you're in a safe place. I never expected someone out there would know when I activated the pocket watch and sent someone to steal it from me. I'm worried the same thing might happen to you. System message. Luthor is waiting.
I mean, I really doubt it. I don't know who they'd send.
I can't take care of myself, but thank you for your concern. Would you even be able to do anything if someone came after me? I can't take care of myself.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Responded. Luthor smiled. Okay, that's good to know. Luthor paused and was thinking. Unless I'm wrong, there's no magic in the human world.
You're right.
Descriptive. Unless I'm wrong, there's no magic in the human world. Someone shouldn't be able to sense your connection if they don't have any magic, and no Menacing has been able to cross over.
Yeah, that's kind of, yeah, so I think I'll be all okay, but who knows, I guess.
That should give me some peace of mind, but the fact that you're connected to me through the pocket watch makes me doubt our long-standing theory that there isn't a speck of magic in your world.
Well, yeah, but who knows, maybe it's just my device, I guess, I don't know.
Luthor sighed. The daylight noticeably began to dim. I have to pick up those cupcakes and head to the train station.
Oh my gosh, yeah, the cupcakes, we got so sidetracked, oh my gosh.
Good thing the cake shop and train station are nearby. System message. Wait, don't you need some time to reflect on what just happened? One of two I didn't expect you would have a train in your world. Is it magical? Two of two responses, but I didn't
second one, I guess. Also, I can't believe that they actually still call them shops, though. Like, I don't know. It's just weird that they can just walk in and take anything they want and then leave. Like, sounds kind of like paradise, but also too good to be true, which it clearly is, so.
Responded, it's powered by approved human technology. Trains used to be a welcomed alternative to Griffin transports for those who are afraid to fly and for those who can't afford teleport orbs. Plus, trains allow you to enjoy the landscape when you traveled.
I mean, can't Griffins do that too?
But I heard a lot of train routes shut down because people are afraid of using human technology now.
I mean, yeah, but you think that was used to create the Valdorian disease, guy? I don't, okay, well, sure, I guess.
Luthor put the pocket watch in his inner jacket pocket and bolted for the door leading to the stairs of the disposal center. He ran down the flights of stairs. Luthor exited the building and continued running. Luthor looked pensive as he ran. You asked about Patora's hair like you knew her.
Well, that's a whole other thing, so...
I didn't have time to ask you before, but you do know why she's trying to get my pocket watch.
No, I don't. I do not.
System mess. I do know her, but I'm also curious why she was after your pocket watch today. The script. I do know her.
Okay.
I do know her, but I'm also curious why she was after your pocket watch today.
Yeah, that is strange. And who's her boss? Like, we never heard tales about this boss in, like, Ash's timeline, so that's weird.
Luthor took a deep breath. When I suspected you weren't the time manipulator, I thought maybe it was a fluke in the pocket watch connected to some random human. But you're someone special. You keep surprising me.
I mean, sure.
And I'm surprised that I kept the pocket watch open all this time. I'm not used to someone being able to sense my surroundings. I like my privacy.
Fair. I agree with that.
But, ellipsis, I did forget about that irksome ability of the pocket watch for a while when I was talking to you. And it did help me with Patora. Luthor sighed.
Yeah, I guess it has its perks, like everything in life, I guess. Like, I don't know.
We had so many interruptions today. I just wish I could sit down and talk to you more.
I mean, maybe after the, trials or wherever we're going after this.
Luthor reached the cake shop. He rushed inside and saw a counter labeled as reserved for Timecrest. He pressed his hand on the glass and it opened, allowing him to retrieve a box with the cupcakes. Luthor exited the cake shop and started running again. Luthor saw the large station sign ahead. Descriptive help. Luthor saw the large station sign ahead.
It's so weird to think of them having trains. Like, I don't know if that's just me, but like, the fact that they can just like travel around on like trains which is like such a normal thing here, but like in Alencia, like it's just kind of weird. But maybe that's just me, I guess. I don't know.
Large elastic bubbles with tentacles are bouncing about the outside of the train. The bubbles are moving their tentacles across the train, leaving sparkling clean surfaces behind. Luthor stopped to catch his breath. Soon the bubbles gathered and did a little dance, finishing the dance by high-fiving each other.
Oh my gosh.
The octobubbles have finished cleaning. The octobubbles have finished cleaning. It means the train is about ready to leave.
That is a cool way of cleaning. I would kind of wish we had octobubbles.
Luthor paused. Before I get on, I'm going to close the pocket watch.
I mean, okay.
The Valdorian guards will put me and my family through several stages of inspection and scrutiny. Luthor paused again. I never suspected somebody could sense our connection. I never suspected somebody could sense our connection. I was always told by everyone that this watch is just normal. But now that I know someone can sense magic from this watch, I'm concerned that a Valdorian will be able to as well.
I mean, if you've like been around Valdorians before with the watch, then I don't see how. But I mean, I guess like better to be safe than sorry.
I can't let Valdor take my watch. Luthor sighed. It's risky to even bring the watch with me, but I don't have a place to store it right now. Julius is approaching. He stopped by Luthor and gave him a stern look. He stopped by Luthor and gave him a stern look. Julius said, "There you are. You're late, Luthor. Your mum, Ash, and Model 1 are waiting inside the train." Julius said, "Did you remember to pick up your mother's cupcakes?" Luthor nodded his head, holding up the cupcake box. "What's Model 1 doing inside the train? I thought I told him to stay in the lab." Julius said, "Model 1 found me in my lab and wanted to come along with us to the Valdorian Palace." Luthor lowered his gaze. Julius narrowed his eyes and said, "Is everything okay, Luthor? You typically like to travel with Model 1 around." Luthor paused before he nodded. "Yeah, everything is okay. It's just that I told Model 1 to stay in my lab." Julius arched his brow. He said, "Is something wrong with Model 1 coming along?" "No, nothing is wrong." Julius said, "Your mum also wants to store the cupcakes in Model 1 so the icing doesn't melt." Luthor took a breath. "Okay." Julius eyed his son. He said, "Come on, Luthor. Let's board the train." "Go ahead, Dad. I'll catch up with you in a bit. I just want to enjoy a few more moments of quasi-freedom before all the Valdorian inspections we have to go through in order to go to this event that Janos is forcing us to attend." Julius paused. He said, "What happened to your hand, son? Are you—" Julius paused. He said, "What happened to your hand, son? Are you okay?" Julius picked up Luthor's injured hand, avoiding the wounds with care, and held it in his. Luthor looked up at his father. His father's eyes are gentle and filled with concern. Luthor swallowed hard. "I don't want to lie to you, Dad. Can we talk about it later?" Julius looks crestfallen, but he nodded. He said, "I'll check with the Valdorian guards to see if they have an ore potion. We need to heal this up before your mother sees it. Does it hurt, Luthor?" "I'll be fine, Dad." Julius sighed and said, "We need to talk about what happened between you and the Roberts. Then there's also you accusing Dr. Fulgur."
Well, that's fair, and also, well, yeah, I don't know, okay.
Luthor lowered his gaze and clenched his hands into fists. "Okay, just give me a moment and I'll be right behind you." Julius eyed Luthor's injured hand as Luthor clenched it. Julius took his son's wounded hand in his and straightened it out before he said, "I'll go look for that ore potion." Julius walked towards the train. "Dad." Julius turned around to face Luthor, his eyes hopeful. He said, "Something you want to tell me, son? I know how hard you work to keep the peace between us and Valdor. Maybe you should just tell people that I'm not your son."
Oh my gosh, no.
Julius' expression softened. He shook his head and said, "Not a chance, Luthor. You're my son. I'm angry with you, but you'll always be my son no matter what you do." Julius went back to the train. A set of Valdorian guards started inspecting Luthor's father at the entrance. Luthor sighed as he placed his hand inside his jacket pocket. "Well, it seems like you won't be missing out on anything good. Just a lot of yelling from my dad and mum and the long silence that will follow after." Luthor sighed. "My dad and I haven't even made up yet from our last fight about the time manipulator." Luthor shook his head as he placed his hand on the lid of the pocket watch inside his inner jacket pocket. "Will you be there the next time I open my watch?" System message, probably. "There are things I want to know. 1 of 2 don't close the watch. I want to be there when your parents yell at you. 2 of 2 response."
Oh my gosh, what kind of response is that?
Probably. "There are things I want to know. One of two, probably.
Very, very mysterious, if I do say so myself.
Responded, probably. There are things I want to know. Luthor smiled. Before today, I felt so stuck. But now, I feel like time is flowing again. Luthor closed the pocket watch. System message. Luthor is traveling to the Valdorian Palace. 2 hours, 29 minutes, 54 seconds. Skipped. System.
Okay, so this is the first official timer that we've gotten since actually starting in Timecrest 3. I would say that we should celebrate, but I have to wait 2 hours, so I'll put that on hold, okay? Okay, we're finally back. Let's see what on earth is going on.
Chapter 12.
Okay, of a chapter.
The pocket watch clicked open inside Luthor's jacket pocket. Luthor is sitting on the grass of the courtyard outside the Valdorian reception hall, in the section set up for non-Valdorians, with Model 1 floating beside him. Julius and Helena are holding onto Ash, while standing at one of the several refreshment tables in the distance. Other Julius and Helena are holding onto Ash, while standing at one of the several refreshment tables in the distance. Other non-Valdorian guests are circling the tables, filling their plates up with different kinds of food.
Okay, sounds quite nice, you know, like with food and all.
Julius glanced over his shoulder at Luthor. Luthor tilted his head up towards the sky. The light of the moon glowed intermittently behind the clouds. Luthor's eyes lit up as he saw the glint of shiny metal through the gaps in the clouds. A human machine, possibly a rule breaker machine, floats above the Valdorian Palace.
Oh, wow. What?
Some human technologies that made their way into Alincia felt more powerful than any spell mages could learn. People started referring to these special machines as rule breakers.
That sounds cool, okay.
I remember a machine that allowed anyone to change their body shapes, like lose or gain weight, get longer legs, different shaped face, those sorts of things.
Oh my gosh. Oh my god, wow.
We called this specific body-altering machine Rule Breaker Corporus. Another rule breaker tech called Rule Breaker Genesis allowed mothers to speed up their pregnancies and growth of their child. These rule breaker machines are rare finds in Alincia, usually buried away. But people became rich if they could find a rule breaker and operate it. Not so long ago, Alincians felt awe when they looked at human technology. Now all they feel is fear.
Kinda sad, but I mean, I kinda understand, like, that is quite advanced tech there.
They've allowed Valdor to seize all the rule breakers and lock them away in this palace. Except for that one up there. Luthor smiled a little as he said, I found out from Riley that Valdorians don't know what it does or how to move it. And they are unwilling to move their palace from underneath it out of fear of looking fearful.
Oh wow. Okay, so they're just kinda stuck. Wow.
Luthor continued to look up at the sky. And they are unwilling to move their... Luthor continued to look up at the sky. The Valdorians claim it's a rule breaker, so no one is allowed near it. They gave it the name Rule Breaker Nemesis to make it sound evil.
Oh wow.
I hope it is a rule breaker. There's a good chance it is. Valdorians have definitely tried to destroy it and found it indestructible like other rule breakers.
Oh my gosh, indestructible. That is not something from the human world.
Luthor eyed the surface of his jacket where the pocket watch is hidden behind. If you're there and wondering why I open the pocket watch when I'm surrounded by Valdorians, I don't have a good answer for you. Luthor sighed and smiled. I just had to. Luthor paused again. Are you there? System mess. I'm here. Luthor, I'm happy you opened up the pocket watch so we could talk again. What happened on the train right here? Did you tell your parents everything that happened with the Robertses and Patora?
That's a long
One of two responses. What other rule breakers do you know of? Are they all machines? 2 of 2. I'm here.
I'll pick the first one, I guess.
I'm here. Luthor responded, I'm here. Luthor touched his head and smiled. I appreciate that you're still here.
I mean, I don't think I could ever finish these videos if I wasn't there. Just be like, okay guys, that's the end. Goodbye. See you never, I suppose. What? Okay.
My parents are angry with me and they are concerned I'm speaking with a stranger on my pocket watch.
I mean...
I told them that I got angry at the Robertses for easily accepting their lives as prisoners. Luthor looked at his hands. But I didn't mention anything about the water balloon.
Probably a good thing.
And I didn't say anything about Patora.
I mean, yeah, to be fair, I don't think they'd ever let you out of the house again if they knew that, so...
Mum and Dad would never leave me alone if I told them Patora could be out to kill me. A loud explosion sounded. Luthor looked behind him to see a Valdorian launching continuous fire attacks at a large apple tree that grew in the middle of the courtyard.
What?
Luthor shifted himself on the grass to face the apple tree and the line of Valdorians filing into the courtyard. all dressed in formal red attire. Valdorians took turns nicking the apple tree with a knife, hacking at it with a sword, or shooting attack magic at it as they passed by.
Poor tree, oh my gosh.
None of the attacks left any mark on the tree.
Oh wow. I mean, still, it's a tree, like, guys.
After each Valdorian attacked, they raised their hand to the tree, showing off the Valdorian tattoo on their wrist and saying loudly, "Praise the first." Luthor shook his head as he watched this. First Mage Ezra supposedly planted this apple tree.
Oh wow.
The Valdorians believe that the First Mage left this tree to show how invincible Valdorians are. Valdorians are descendants of First Mage Ezra and get to live much longer than the rest of us.
Yeah.
They attack this tree as a way to remind themselves of their extraordinary heritage.
It's a bit of a weird way to do stuff, like, especially if First Mage Ezra planted that tree, like, I don't think that's what its purpose was supposed to be, for friggin' people to just attack it. But sure guys, do what you do, I suppose. Doesn't look like anyone can stop you, so.
Model 1 said, "Did the time manipulator ask you about the apple tree and the rule breaker machine, Luthor?" "No." Model 1 said, "Interesting. I rarely see you talking out loud and explaining things without any prompt. Luthor, are you hoping to make the time manipulator feel included?" The person I'm speaking to now is not the time manipulator.
Okay, wait, I'm sorry, backtracking, but that's the thing though, how can Luthor know that the descriptions going through the watch are like exactly what he's describing? Like, if say the watch like sent a description of, I don't know, the sky, and then Luthor just started talking about the tree. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, weird.
Cap T.
Weird,
Tango.
theorizing, I guess.
Model 1 said, "Then your actions are even more surprising to me." Model 1 said, "Are you hoping that this person will lead you to the time manipulator?" "Yeah. Something like that. Yeah. Something like that." Model 1 beeped and showed a digital smile. Model 1 said, "I like seeing you happy and you seem happy when you are speaking to the watch." Luthor smiled a little. Model 1 said, "I like seeing you happy and you seem happy when you are speaking to the watch." Luthor smiled a little, but when he glanced at Model 1, his expression saddened. Model 1 said, "You look sad now. I'm sorry, Luthor, that I remind you of Lieutenant Zone Valsori."
Oh my gosh, that's... I don't know, I kind of feel bad for Model 1 low-key, because, like, I don't know, I guess he was just trying to help, but I don't know. I don't know, guys.
A voice said, "You know my dad's name."
Oh my gosh, oh my...
Luthor's eyes widened as he looked behind him and saw a young girl with large, bright eyes. The girl looked curiously at Model 1 and said, "What are you supposed to be? You don't look like me. You're The girl looked curiously at Model 1 and said, "What are you supposed to be? You don't look like me. You're smooth and shiny. Did you fall from that thing in the sky? And how do you know my dad's name?" Luthor swallowed hard and is speechless.
Oh my gosh, this is... this situation, oh my gosh, I'd never want to come across this. Oh my... wow.
Model 1 floated in between Luthor and the girl and said, "You are not allowed in this area. Go away."
Oh my gosh, well, don't do that, Model 1.
We met your dad before. That's how we know Lieutenant Zone Valsori." Model 1 paused and stopped driving Zoe away from Luthor. The girl turned to Luthor and nodded her head. She said, "I'm Zoe." The girl turned to Luthor and nodded her head. She said, "I'm Zoe. I'm named after my dad." Zoe continued to inspect Luthor with her large eyes before she said, "You're pretty. What's your name?"
What?
Luthor. Zoe smiled before she lowered her gaze and said, "Luthor, my mum said I'm not supposed to talk about my dad since he's gone. She says it's against the rules to feel sad for a long time after someone dies."
I mean, well, that's... I don't think that's a crime, honestly. Like, I mean, I'd feel sad if, like, my dad died or something. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't think it's a crime.
Zoe
Like,
kicked
that's
the
not
grass
that
and
bad.
said, "I hate that rule. Maybe it's easier for my mum to forget because she's not named after him. But I'm named after my dad. Every time I tell people my name, I think about him."
Oh, yeah, that too. Like, come on, that's a bit, I don't know, much.
"I remember your dad, Zoe. I still feel sad that he's gone." Zoe was silent as she observed Luthor. She said, She said, "How tall are you, Luthor?" Luthor
What?
blinked, but after a moment, he stood up. Zoe crossed her arms and seemed to be considering something. After a while she nodded her head and said, "I'm going to date you when I grow taller. Luthor, so you don't have to bend down to kiss me.
Oh my
It'll look too
gosh,
weird now
what?
since I'm so much shorter than you.
What? Okay, that's random.
Luthor blinked again. Zoe looked at Model 1 and said, sorry, shiny round thing, but I like legs and tall and pretty boys and not things that tell me to go away. She looked back at Luthor and said, don't forget about my dad, Luthor. I want to talk about him when we're boyfriend and girlfriend. And don't tell my mum. It'll be our secret.
Yeah, well...
Luthor's expression softened. I promise. I'll never forget your dad, Zoe. Zoe beamed with happiness. Zoe beamed with happiness. She said, good. Luthor, I want to tell you a secret already. I think about my dad a lot, even when I'm not saying my name. A woman called out, Zoe, there you are. Come back here, right now. You're not supposed to be in that area. Zoe said, uh-oh, that's my mum. I have to go. Zoe, ellipsis, I'm really sorry about your dad. Zoe shook her head and said, don't be silly. You're like the only person I know besides me who remembers him. My dad was so lucky to meet you. Bye. Zoe shook her head and said, don't be silly. You're like the only person I know besides me who remembers him. My dad was so lucky to meet you. Bye, Luthor. I'll see you when I grow taller. Zoe waved goodbye and ran back towards her mother, who was gathered with the other Valdorians. Luthor dropped back down to a sitting position on the grass. He hugged his knees and buried his face. Model 1 said, I'm sorry, Luthor. I walked away that night, Model 1. Model 1 said, I'm sorry for misinterpreting your desire, Luthor. You worked so hard to find ways to test your formula safely, but each failure took a toll on you. Model 1 said, and then I saw you, the night before Dr. Brayfolger came to collect the lieutenant from us. I saw you standing outside of the operation room holding the cure. You stood there the whole night. At one point, you even put your hand on the door and opened it. I walked away that night. Luthor looked around the courtyard. Luthor looked around the courtyard. Valdorian guards stood straight like prison bars around the premises of the non-Valdorian section, but none of them looked in Luthor's direction. Model 1 said, I made a mistake, Luthor. Friends are supposed to make each other happy. You are my friend and I just wanted to make you happy. Luthor looked at the ground. He paused for a long while. I never considered you my friend, Model 1.
Oh no, now I feel bad for Model 1 again. I don't know, guys. This another moment of character consideration, I suppose. Like, Model 1 seems nice and like definitely genuinely like wants to help Luthor and stuff, but I don't know. It killed someone, so I don't know.
You are a robot. Stop thinking you know what makes me happy and just do as I say. Model 1 floated quietly for a moment before saying, understood, Luthor. Is there anything you would like me to do tonight? Perhaps. Model 1 floated quietly for a moment before saying, understood, Luthor. Is there anything you would like me to do tonight? Perhaps some music. Just stay quiet and still until we go home, Model 1. Luthor looked around him. No one is near him at the moment and none of the guards are looking at him. Luthor murmured. And remember not to use your gelatinous form, no matter what. Valdorians will take you away if they know you're not just a basic model anymore. Model 1 said, I'm sorry to have disobeyed your orders to stay in the lab, Luthor. Stop saying sorry and just obey my orders from now on. Model 1 was quiet for a moment before saying, understood, Luthor. I will keep quiet and still as much as possible. Luthor returned his attention to the apple tree. Luthor returned his attention to the apple tree. Valdorians are still hacking away at the tree.
Okay, well...
I wonder what First Mate Ezra would say or think if he saw his descendants hacking away at the apple tree.
Yeah, exactly. That, like, guys, have more respect for stuff.
I can't imagine he planted this tree so people could attack it.
Mm-hmm.
It's common knowledge that Valdorians are the descendants of the First Mage. But Riley told me it's only known amongst the royals that First Mate Ezra was once a Valdorian king, their first king and original founder of the Valdorian Empire. I wondered what happened between the First Mage and his people. Luthor paused. And I wonder what the time manipulator, the first human, would think of his descendants. I wonder what he would think of me.
Yeah, that is interesting thoughts. Luthor likes to theorize as well, I suppose. Okay. Well.
Luthor took a deep breath and seemed to calm down. System message. I appreciate you trying to include me in your world, Luthor. 1 of 4. Don't you think you were a little harsh with Model 1? If you're that upset, then why not just let Valdor take Model 1? 2 of 4. Are you okay, Luthor? It must be hard when you to see Lieutenant Valsori's daughter. 3 of 4. I'm surprised Valdorians want to be anywhere near the non-Valdorian section. Who are the other non-Valdorian guests? 4 of 4 respond.
third one, I suppose?
Are you okay, Luthor? It must be hard when you to see Lieutenant Valdor's daughter. 3. Are you okay, Luthor? It must be hard when you to see Lieutenant. Responded, it was hard seeing her and I'm not okay. But I shouldn't be okay after taking away someone's father. Luthor took a deep breath. But thank you for asking. Luthor surveyed the courtyard. I wonder if Riley will come to find me tonight.
Oh yeah, Riley! I actually kind of forgot about Riley. I'm sorry, Riley, but yeah, I don't know. I wonder if she will come over.
I messaged her my location. Not that she doesn't know where non-Valdorians are kept during her father's parties. Luthor's eyes continued to wander around the courtyard party as he spoke. He stopped on Bray Fulgur. Descriptive help. Luthor's eyes continued to wander around the courtyard party as he spoke. Bray held a large plate of food and a drink. The metal pieces sewn onto his cloak reflected the light of the courtyard as he walked around looking for a seat. Descriptive. Bray held a large plate of food and a drink. He neared a group of non-Valdorian guests sitting at a table with an extra chair. When they saw him, one person put their bag on the empty chair.
Oh my, okay. Okay, that's... Now, okay, more bad feeling. Now I just feel bad for freaking Fulgur for some reason. Like, no, don't make me feel bad for Fulgur. He tried to freaking, he killed, like, many people. He tried to make Luthor kill people. He almost basically forced Luthor to kill people. No, don't make me feel bad for this man. Like, oh my god.
Bray looked at the group for a bit before he moved on. He sat down on an empty bench and started voraciously eating the food on his plate. People from the non-Valdorian table got up to get more food. As they passed by Luthor, one of them said, "Do you know what Dr. Fulgur's story is?" One person replied, "Don't know his story, but he's a bumbling idiot. I've worked with him briefly. He just laughs at everything." One person replied, "Don't know his story, but he's a bumbling idiot. I've worked with him briefly. He just laughs at everything. Wonder why Valdor hired him as their head doctor. If he could do the job, I wager I could do it 100 times better."
Stop being frigging mean. Like, guys, oh my gosh.
Another said, "Well, you don't want to get sick, do you? Who better to be..." Another said, "Well, you don't want to get sick, do you? Who better to be around sick people than a creep no one will miss?"
Stop it! Oh my gosh, stop being mean to this guy. He did not do a single thing to you.
Luthor glanced back at Bray. He is polishing off the food on his plate at an amazing speed. Bray picked up his cup and drank from it, his eyes meeting Luthor's. Luthor stiffened. Bray's lips curled downward. He slammed the cup down on the bench and forcibly shoved a large bite of food into his mouth and proceeded to chew with an angry expression. Luthor looked away. After a bit, Luthor took a deep breath and slowly looked back at Bray. A couple of non-Valdorian guests, juggling plates of food and cups of drinks, walked near Bray. One of them tumbled and spilled food and drink over Bray's cloak. The two guests froze as Bray looked at the stain on his cloak. After a moment, Bray brushed off the spilled food and smiled at the two. He scooted over on the bench, making room for them and motioning for them to join him. One of them smiled politely and seemed to be declining Bray's invitation. The other guest made a very noticeable face.
Oh my... Stop! Why are all these people being so mean? Like, again, I'm feeling so bad for Fulgur right now, guys. Can anyone empathize with me? Like, Stop it! Stop being mean to this guy who, yeah, he's killing a bunch of people, but, like, he didn't do anything to you.
Bray's expression turned sour as he saw the look of rejection on the guest's face. As the two guests scurried away, Bray took out a water balloon from his cloak.
Oh... No. Okay, I know what I said, but, like, I don't want it to come to this. Oh my gosh, no.
Luthor scrambled up from the ground as Bray chucked the balloon. Levitas Miller Magnus, upstream.
Oh my... No.
Gusts of wind pushed the balloon upwards.
Come on.
Gusts of wind pushed the balloon upwards. But Bray pointed a finger at it and the balloon flew to the guest who made the face,
no!
hitting its target. Luthor froze as he looked at the guest who got hit. For a brief moment, a wet mark appeared, but soon got absorbed into the guest who didn't seem to feel anything. At one point, the two guests both glanced back at Bray and then snickered to each other before disappearing out of sight. Luthor glanced around and saw a Valdorian guard who was facing Bray's direction. Luthor glanced around and saw a Valdorian guard who was facing Bray's direction. Luthor dashed to the guard and grabbed onto his arm. Model 1 followed behind Luthor. The water balloon that Dr. Fulgur just hit that person with is filled with ellipsis. Luthor shook his head. "A poison. Please. A poison. Please, get a healer and examine." The guard pulled his arm away from Luthor and said, "What water balloon?"
Oh, no! Did he... Was that like an illusion or... Oh, how... He didn't see that? Oh my gosh, no! Oh,
Luthor's arms dropped to his side as he swallowed hard. Were you watching Dr. Fulgo just now? Were you watching Dr. Fulgo just now? You didn't see anything? The guard said, yes, he's sitting in the area that I'm supposed to be watching, so I haven't taken my eyes off him since he sat on that bench. Why are you making up a story about the head doctor?
Oh my gosh, no one saw that! No one saw that! Are you kidding me?
Luthor looked back at Bray, who had a huge smile. Luthor gulped and shivered. The guard said, answer me, Luthor Timecrest. I was. Luthor clenched his hands into fists. Model 1 floated forward and said, it was my idea. Luthor was bored, so I dared Luthor to make up a story to tell you. The guard eyed Model 1, before turning to Luthor and saying, do not try to prank me again or there will be consequences. As Julia's son, you need to be setting a good example for your people. Luthor nodded and walked away from the guard. I told you to stay quiet, Model 1. Model 1 said, I'm sorry, Luthor. Luthor sighed and looked back at Bray, who had a smug expression on his face. Bray tilted his head, considering Luthor's family.
Oh, no!
Luthor's eyes widened. Bray raised one finger to his lips, signaling Luthor to stay quiet.
Okay, I have such mixed feelings. I don't think I've ever had this much mixed feelings about a character before. Like freaking Valdor, like, because he's nice. No, he's not nice. What? Okay. He's, like, he killed a bunch of people. He freaking threw that water balloon thing at the guest. But, like, he's also just, like, being, like, everyone's just mean to him. Like, guys, I don't know. Like, I kind of get why he's doing what he's doing. It's really wrong, and there's way better ways to go around it, but I don't know. Like, guys, I don't know. Team 13, I think I'll stick to deciding whether I like one of them better than the others or not. I don't know. They all have their qualities, I guess. Like, all characters have their qualities, good qualities and bad qualities, but Bray's just, like, confusing. Like...
Model 1, did you see me use my Levitas Miller Magnus upstream? Model 1 didn't reply for a bit before saying, no, I did not. Luthor kneeled on the grass and grabbed his head with one hand. Model 1 said, are you okay, Luthor? Do you want me to confront Dr. Fulgor?
Oh, no, that would be such a bad idea.
No, don't do that. Luthor kneaded his trembling hands together. There's nothing we can do at the moment against someone like that. Brave and stable and powerful, he prevented everyone but me from seeing what he did. Luthor dug one nail into his palm, making a red indent. All I can do is avoid him for now. That's the best for my family. Luthor closed his eyes before opening them again. His expression angry. Januz, you fool. You've lost control. Luthor shook his head and looked at Model 1. Just like me. Model 1 said, you are not a fool, Luthor. Is Dr. Fulgor threatening you? Do you want me to eliminate him? Just stay out of this, Model 1, and forget about everything that just happened, okay? Model 1 floated quietly before saying, understood, Luthor. I am deleting the files from my memory. System message. That Fulgor is a psychopath. Do you think the person he hit with the water balloon is going to get sick? One of two, or you become Fulgor's friend in the future. Two of two, or...
I mean, again, as I said, I have really mixed feelings about Fulgor, so I feel like I'll go for the second one.
You become Fulgor's friend in the future. Responded, the future.
The far future, where you're a master and, I don't even know.
Luthor shivered and covered his mouth. He lowered his hand and took a deep breath. Just thinking about being friends with that psychopath is making me queasy.
Yeah, again, like, I just had to mention for, like, I don't know, the millionth time, the fact that, like, Luthor's just so different in this timeline. What on earth happened to make him, like, that, like, I don't know, ruthless?
But I suppose I would become his friend if it's the only way to stop him from hurting my family.
Maybe that's it?
Luthor heard the grass rustle behind him. He whirled around and sighed in relief when he saw his dad walking towards him.
Yeah, okay.
Luthor peeked at the bench that Fulgor sat on, but the doctor is no longer there. Julius had a plate of food and a cup of water in his hands. He set the plate and cup down in front of Luthor, who lowered his gaze. Thanks, Dad. How's the food? Julius said, pretty good. King Janos has never skimped on the amenities of the non-Valdorian section of his parties. Though your plate is... Julius said, pretty good. King Janos has never skimped on the amenities of the non-Valdorian section of his parties. Though your plate is mostly vegetables and whatever your mum considers to be healthy. Good food. But I dribbled Valdor's famous red sauce over things and even the healthy foods taste pretty good. Luthor continued to avoid eye contact with his dad. Julius said, and he looked over at his wife, who was busy feeding Ash a soft vegetable, before reaching into his pocket and pulling out a bag of barbecue chips. I managed to sneak this past her. Julius handed the bag of chips to Luthor. Luthor took the bag and set it down next to him. Julius eyed the top of Luthor's head and said, "Are you feeling okay, Luthor? You're not eating anything." There were a lot of bags of chips reserved for me at the Alra portal and I had my fill of them already, but thanks for getting me another bag, Dad. I'll save it for later. Julius said, "Of course. You're welcome." Julius paused for a moment before saying, "What were you talking about with the guard just now?" He seemed, ellipsis, annoyed.
You don't wanna know.
Luthor lowered his gaze. Julius ran a hand through his hair and said, "Luthor, you understand that it's important for you to try being respectful toward Valdorians, right? I know you work hard, Dad, to promote peace and understanding between us and Valdorians, and I'm always making it harder for you. I did annoy that guard, so I'm sorry. I hope you can help smooth things over with him." Descriptive help. I did annoy that. Julius said, "I want to talk to you right now, Luthor. I want you to talk to me." Descriptive help, but Julius paused again before saying, "I saw your lips moving while I was getting food. Are you speaking to the pocket watch, Luthor?" Luthor looked bummed. "I told you that the person isn't the time manipulator." Descriptive. I told you that I won't be using time magic to change my mistakes anytime soon, Dad, so don't worry. Descriptive. Julius said, "I am worried that you are speaking with a stranger that I can't even tell is real." Luthor lowered his gaze.
No imaginary friends here, Okay.
Julius said, "I just don't like the thought of you speaking to a stranger."
That is a fair thing. But you know what? I'm a nice stranger, okay? It's fine.
This person is special. Julius said, "Or maybe the watch isn't special. Maybe it wasn't meant to connect you with the time manipulator. You said so yourself that this person you have connected with isn't Chronos Timecrest." Luthor swallowed hard. Julius said, "You still haven't told me how you injured your hand." Julius knelt down and placed his hands firmly on Luthor's arms. He said, "Look at me, Luthor." Luthor didn't look at his father. Julius said, "Luthor." Luthor met his father's gaze. Descriptive help. Luthor met his father's gaze. Julius said, "I know you're keeping things from me. I want you to tell me everything in your own time, but just tell me you're not in any real trouble or danger." Luthor paused. He shook his head. "No. No one is out to kill me, Dad."
Well, probably.
Julius nodded, his expression still tense as he said, "I love you, Luthor." He rose from his kneeling position and looked down at the top of his son's head. Julius said, "I know how much you want to speak with the time manipulator, but maybe it's time to move on." Descriptive. Julius said, "Your mum and I have decided that we're going to confiscate your watch for a month as punishment for everything you did today."
Oh no! Oh no!
Luthor squeezed his hands into fists. Julius reached out his hand to Luthor and said, "Please give me the watch, Luthor." Luthor shook his head. "You know that the watch eventually returns to me." Vertical. You know that the watch eventually returns to me.
Yeah, that. So.
Vertical scroll bar. 5 page. You know that the watch event. Julius said, "Mum or I will keep it on us. Whichever one of us has the watch will be spending time with you that day and you are to hand over the watch if it returns to you."
Oh my, no. Oh no, that's a whole month? That's...
"Don't do this to me, Dad. I lost my temper with the Robertses. It won't happen again." Julius said, "This is the consequence of your actions against the Robertses." Julius said, "And both Mum and I think it's good for you to spend some time away from the watch." Luthor took a deep breath. "At least let me keep it for tonight." Julius eyed his son with concern. "Please, Dad. Don't make me sit through Jano's party without my watch." Julius sighed and said, "I need to talk with your mother." Luthor lowered his gaze and sat in silence. Julius said, "What did you try to throw at them when you got angry, Mister?" Julius said, "What did you try to throw at them when you got angry, Mister? Roberts told me you tried throwing something at him." Luthor remained silent. Julius said, "Luthor, please tell me." "You wouldn't believe me, Julia said, try me, Luthor.
No.
I doubt it, Dad. You didn't believe me when I said Fulgur is the one who made the Valdorian disease. Julius looked sad. Luthor swallowed again and dug one nail into his palm, leaving an indentation. Why can't you believe me about Dr. Fulgur, Dad? Julia said, you don't have any proof, son. I need to give Dr. Fulgur the benefit of the doubt.
I mean, yeah, but like the guy is suspicious already by like the way he acts and all. Like, can't you at least like consider the idea? I don't know.
You think I would lie about something like this? Julia said, I know you're desperately trying to prove that King Janus started the Valdorian disease. Yes, because then we would be free. Julius knelt down and embraced Luthor in his arms. He whispered in Luthor's ears, King Janus could kill you. He is still the king of the most powerful empire. Julius said, and he does hear about everything you're saying and doing against him. Julius tightened his embrace and said, so please, just enjoy your life as a kid and let me handle this. Dad, I get your word for my safety. But the more time we give Janus, the more likely he'll succeed at killing all of us. Julius took a deep breath and let Luthor go. He got to his feet and said, I hope as the month progresses with your mum and I, you'll stop seeing it as a punishment. Take this opportunity to get your mind off the watch and think about something else.
Like what? I mean, I don't know what he does, but I'm sure. I mean, yeah, but like, I don't know, a month, again, a month is a very long time, so.
Julius walked away and rejoined Elena. Luthor watched his parents talk to each other and his mum glancing at him with a worried expression. Helena started walking towards Luthor, but Julius placed one hand on her arm and shook his head. I have a feeling that it's going to be a long month ahead of me.
Yep, getting that vibe.
Luthor swallowed hard and pressed his jacket where the pocket watches. Time manipulator Chronos, if you can hear me, tell me what I should do. Luthor waited in silence before sighing and looking up at the sky. I wonder if we see the same stars.
Interesting thought.
Luthor paused. Sometimes, I want to run away. And not just from Janus. My parents are so nice. I know they love me. I know they love me and I love them. But still, sometimes, I just want to run away. Luthor shut his mouth as two guards walked past the perimeter of the non-Valdorian section. One of the guards looked at Luthor and said, a storm is brewing tonight. The other guard said, we don't see many violent storms in Everend, but tonight looks like we could be in for one of those. System message, don't give up. Family is important. You should talk to your dad when you have a chance. Explain to him how he's making you feel. It'll continue to bother you if you don't, and I'm sure he would like it if you shared your thoughts with him too. One of two foreshadowing with bad weather is a rather cliché way of saying something ominous could happen tonight. But I think we're being warned, Luthor. Perhaps Patora is out to kill you tonight, so be careful. Two of two don't give up. Magicus alert. Response changed.
What? What? What on earth? What?
Response changed. A magic has come over the option and highlighted certain letters in your choice red. The rest of the letters fade out, revealing a hidden message. The letters animate and move together, forming a phrase.
Oh wow! What is this, guys? What is this?
Okay, button. Okay.
Okay. No cancel button. Option. That'd be kind of cool.
Note. Mute. Vertical. Magic has changed your message to be read.
Okay.
And say, first comes curiosity. Button.
Oh my gosh! It's the poetry thing again. It's the poetry thing. The first comes curiosity. Oh my gosh.
Foreshadowing with...
I mean, if I didn't have any reason to think that this guy isn't the same person who's been talking to Ash all this time, then this is my, yeah, I don't know, this just proves it. This one?
Magic has alert. Response changed.
Okay, well, it's not gonna let me press anything then. Okay, it's the...
Okay, button.
Okay, so I'm guessing this is the time manipulator, because I don't think this is normal, or else every response would do this, and, that has not happened before. But why? Just, like, send him a message yourself or something. Like,
back. Notice.
This is so weird. Oh my gosh, guys. What?
Music play. Pocket. Descript. Magic has changed. Magic has changed.
Okay, I guess I'll pick the first one, because that was the one I was gonna pick anyway, so,
Magic has changed your message to be read. What? Messages.
He's probably so confused.
Responded. First comes curiosity. Luthor received the message. First comes curiosity. Luthor paused and thought for a moment. Curiosity was what drove me to try to connect with the time manipulator. Is that what you mean by first comes curiosity? Descriptive help. Are you trying to say that I was curious about the pocket watch and that was the first step?
Well, sure.
Someone used certain letters from my message to erase the rest. The line comes from a children's poem, I think. The person who blocked my messages probably did this too. One of two response. Let me guess. Second comes desire. Two of two response.
I guess I'll pick the first one because it's more of
Someone
an
used-
explanation.
Magic alert. Response
Oh my
changed.
gosh, okay, so I'm not able to click anything then.
Okay.
This is like, I guess, I
Back.
think this is the most powerful thing that has ever happened. Like, you know, like when Ezra scrambled, like the Pocket Watch's messages, Ash was still, well, actually, no, Ash wasn't getting anything. But like, I mean, like it was still May. Like, this is just like another person.
Let me-
like,
descriptive.
This is weird.
Let me guess. Second comes desire.
Can I say this?
Magic alert.
No.
Okay.
Oh.
No. Music. Magic has
What's
changed
the
your message to
thing?
be read. And say, second comes desire. Button.
Yeah, okay.
Magic has changed your message to be read. And say, second comes desire. Button.
We'll pick the second one in honor of second things. I don't know.
Magic has changed your...
I would be so confused if this happened to me. I'm just saying, like, this is so weird, guys. Like, why is this happening? What and how and huh?
Red message. Smiley face emoji.
Okay, dude, you do you, I guess, but like, what, I don't even know.
The red symbol was not transmitted. Luthor received the message. Second comes desire. These messages aren't yours.
Oh, you realized, okay.
Luthor touched the pocket watch through his jacket.
What's your next step, Luthor?
Time manipulator Chronos. Is it you?
It sure is! Surprise.
Second comes desire. Ellipsis. Luthor paused.
It's a poem. Okay.
I do desire to speak with you. It's the only thing I want right now. Tell me what I need to do. System. Why are you hijacking my messages? Red text person. One of three responses. Button. Are you the one who wrote the children's poem? Red text person.
Oh my gosh, yeah! Oh my gosh, that makes sense.
Say nothing. Three of three response.
No, I've always wanted to say that too.
Say nothing. Why are you hijacking my messages? Red text person.
Okay, okay.
Why are you hijacking my messages? Responded. Why are you... Red message. I let you chat with Luthor first.
Sure.
Red message. But Luthor needs a small nudge to move forward.
Why don't you tell him then? Why get me to tell him? I don't want to tell him.
Red message. Progress is good for all of us.
Sure, I guess.
Red message. Because wouldn't you like to know what's behind the door?
The door? The door again? Okay, well, maybe we'll get some insight here, guys. Maybe we'll actually know what, is behind that door that we chose to stay closed all the way back in chapter 10.
Red message. Before we can move forward. However, we need Luthor to move forward. Red message. Your message and the red text. System. Red message. Your message and the red text were not transmitted to Luthor. System. Tell me about the door. What's behind it? I would like to know. And how does Luthor move forward? One of one. Descriptive. Tell me about the door. Magic has alert. Response changed.
I can't say anything. Okay. What do you
Magic
do you want? I kind of wish I'd said the say nothing option. Like, I genuinely kind of wish I would have said that instead, but you know, curiosity.
System.
First comes curiosity. Okay.
Magic has changed your
What
message to
is
be read
this
and
gonna
say
say?
to talk to me. Button. Magic has
Wait.
changed your message to be read and say to talk to me. Button.
Okay.
Magic has changed your message. Responded to talk to me. Luthor received the message to talk to me. Luthor nodded. Descriptive help. Luthor nodded. What is it that I must do to talk to you? Time manipulator. System message. Luthor is waiting. I guess you're going to use me to tell him, so just get it over with. Tell us what is needed in order for you. Red text person. To speak with Luthor directly. One of one I guess you're...
This-
Magic alert. A magic has come over okay.
I don't know how it...
Back.
How does he even do that? Like, how does he just, like... How does the red text person just highlight random letters like that? Okay. Interesting.
Descriptive. Magic has changed your message to
What's
be read.
it say?
and
I'm actually genuinely curious. Okay, predictions time. I have no clue. Prediction time is over.
say, you must die. Luthor. Button.
Oh my Okay. Okay, then. Well...
Magic has changed your message to be read and say, you must die. Responded, you must...
That's a tall order right there. I mean...
Luthor received the message, you must die. Luthor. Luthor paused as he touched his head. He murmured, to talk to me you must die. Luthor. Model 1 stared at Luthor's side, but didn't say anything. Luthor squeezed his hands into fists. In order to talk to the time manipulator, I must die. Luthor paused and pressed a hand to his heart. My heart's beating faster. Descriptive. My heart's beating faster.
Prospect of death? Yeah.
Luthor's breathing quickened. He shook his... Luthor's breathing quickened. He shook his head and lowered his gaze. Am I afraid to die? Luthor shook his head. Is the time manipulator really asking me to give up my life? I don't want to die. There has to be another way.
Yeah, I, don't see any other way. I haven't gotten a chance to respond. Maybe there is, you know? Maybe, okay, yeah, maybe next time I get to actually say something helpful.
Please tell me there is another way to talk to you, time manipulator. Luthor touched the pocket watch through his jacket. It can't be hard for you to understand why I'm not just going to take my life because you asked, right? System message. Don't worry, Luthor. If you die, I can't turn back time and revive you. I got your back. One of two Red text person. Why must Luthor give up his life? There has to be another way. 2 of 2 responses.
Okay, so the difference between 2 responses, the first one is very assuring, but the second one could actually find out stuff that is helpful?
Red text person. Why must Luthor give up his life? There has to be another way.
That.
Magic has alert. Response changed.
Well,
okay. A magic has come over. Okay. Back.
Guess not
Shop.
then.
No. Music. Pop. Magic has...
I don't think I'll bother clicking the first one because I think it's going to do the same thing.
Magic
so.
has changed your message to
What's
be
this
read.
say?
And say, this is the way. Button.
Okay, I'm guessing there's another way, so.
Magic has changed your message to be read. Descriptive. Responded, this is the way. Red message, death is just the beginning of our time together. Red message, the red text was not transmitted. Luthor received the message, this is the way. Luthor swallowed hard and shook his head. Helena approached with hurried steps. Helena said, I need you to watch Ash for me, Luthor. The participants are coming out soon and I want my arms free to give Scarlet and Sod big hugs. Luthor looks distracted. Helena held out Ash to Luthor and said, Luthor, come on now, take Ash. Can you give Ash to Dad? Luthor looked around for his father, but Helena pushed her baby against Luthor, who felt Ash slipping and immediately cradled Ash tightly with both arms. Helena, who seemed in a hurry a moment ago, paused as she looked at her 2 children. Helena, who seemed in a hurry a moment ago, paused as she looked at her 2 children. Her expression showed a mixture of sadness and happiness. After a bit, she said, we're a family, Luthor. We can overcome anything as a family. Luthor looked down at Ash's scar. Why are you saying that to me all of a sudden? Helena said, your dad told me about the conversation you 2 just had, and when I looked over just now, you seemed, ellipses, troubled.
Well, yeah, but that was for a different reason that's a bit more, life-threatening, if you know what I mean.
Luthor continued to look at Ash's scar. Are you here to take the watch away? Helena pursed her lips. She said, your dad and I agreed that you can keep the watch for tonight. I came over to borrow Model 1 for the cupcakes. Helena paused and said, also, Luthor, I have another favor to ask you. It has to... Helena paused and said, also, Luthor, I have another favor to ask you. It has to do with the favor that Scarlet Ignis asked of me when I was her teacher. Luthor arched his brow at his mum, waiting for Helena to go on. Helena said, Scarlet asked me to give her brother a lot of praise. She wanted Sol to feel needed and appreciated, so every chance she got, she would give her brother the credit or the spotlight. Weren't you bothered by that, my mum? Helena took a deep breath and smiled. She said, you know your mother well. It did. Helena took a deep breath and smiled. She said, you know your mother well. It did bother me. Helena said, but Sol was a moody child and very protective of his sister. He'd get into fights often. When I started praising him like Scarlet asked, his behavior mellowed out.
I mean, that's cool and all, but, don't think giving people unneeded praise is, the best way to, you know, I don't know, I don't like that much.
Helena sighed and said, it bothered me to give unwarranted praise. but it seemed to give both kids some peace.
I mean, that's good, but like, I don't know, do they still need it now? Like,
Helena looked sad. She said, I had a feeling the Ignizes had a troubled home life they were hiding from everyone. I visited their home often to check up on them. They lived with their father, who was single, but he seemed nice. Everything seemed okay on the surface. What favor are you asking of me, Mum? Helena said, be kind to Saul with your words. I hope he has changed, but from what I remember, Saul's ego is easily bruised.
well, I mean, at least, I mean, how long will you be seeing them? Because maybe it won't be a problem.
Helena said, also, Scarlet is blind. I'm only mentioning this because you've never met a blind person before, Luthor. And Scarlet is the first blind person I met and, well, your mum made some mistakes.
Oh wait, what? Scarlet is blind? I didn't know that, actually. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Luthor arched his brow.
Wow, okay.
Like what? Helena took a deep breath and said, when I met Scarlet, I put a lot of imaginary limits on her based on how I thought of blindness. Helena sighed and said, for example, I was afraid she'd get hurt walking around the schoolyard, even though she was fine before I showed up. Helena sighed and said, for example, I was afraid she'd get hurt walking around the schoolyard, even though she was fine before I showed up. I kept leading her to places and offering to help her to use the restroom. Helena clasped her hands together and said, long story short, I feel really embarrassed. Actually, Scarlet had found a way to use fire magic to sense her surroundings.
Oh, what?
Luthor arched his brow. Do you know how her magic works?
That sounds really interesting, actually.
Helena tapped her feet while she paused to think. After a while she said, I remember she can't see details, but she would always find me when we played hide and seek. No matter how tricky I thought my hiding place was. Helena said, but you know your mother doesn't have a magical bone in her body, so you should just ask Scarlet how she does it when you meet her. Luthor smiled. I'm used to people using fire magic destructively. It would be interesting to see how Scarlet uses it.
It would be. Like, I'd actually be really curious to see that. Like, that genuinely sounds really interesting, though.
Helena said, Scarlet told me she struggled a lot with fire magic because she was afraid of hurting someone by accident. But Saul helped her through it. Do the Ignizes know you're human? 1 of 3. Why does your mum care about the Ignizes so much? 2. Was Scarlet born blind? 3 of 3. Why does your mum care about the Ignizes so much? 2. Why does your mum care about the Ignizes so much? 2 of 3. Luthor heard your message in his head. Descriptive. Luthor heard your message in his head. Mum, I'm sure you had more students than just the Ignizes. Descriptive. Mum, I'm sure you had more students than just the Ignizes. You said you visited their home often. Do they mean more to you than just ex-students? Descriptive help button. You said you visited their home often. Helena said, I had other students, but I don't know why I spent so much time on Scarlet and Saul compared to my other students. Helena shrugged and said, I liked what I liked and did what I wanted to back then. It must be nice to be able to do what you want.
Yeah, that sounds like a nice life.
Helena pursed her lips. Descriptive. Helena pursed her lips. She said, it was nice to be able to do what I wanted, but I didn't have anyone that cared about me back then. Descriptive. She said, it was nice to be able to do what I wanted. Descriptive.
I mean, yeah, well, still nice to, I don't know, kind of do whatever, I guess.
She said, it was nice to be able to do what I wanted. Helena said, when your father and I fell in love, it felt extremely nice too, to have someone that cared about me. I didn't get to do what I wanted all the time after I fell in love, but I didn't mind it too much. If I still did things without considering Julius, then I'm sure I would have hurt the man I love a lot. Helena said, and your dad compromised a lot for me too. You know he never wanted to have kids, though he's grateful now that I changed his mind. What if you met someone that wanted the same things as you? Then you can work together towards what you both want. Helena paused and smiled. She said, I hope you do meet someone like that one day, but just keep in mind that there's nothing wrong with compromising with someone who's willing to do the same for you. Helena said, and keep in mind to be nice to Saul when you meet him today, Luthor. For me? I don't have any reason to be unkind to him yet. Helena nodded and said, the Ignis siblings have some hard battles ahead of them tonight and I wanted to make them feel supported. I'm just a little worried that you and Saul won't mesh well with each other. Helena's eyes darted around, seemingly searching for words before she finally said, with what happened with the Robertses, you just seem easily agitated lately. Luthor took a deep breath. Helena said, I heard from the Robertses that you accused them of putting themselves above their daughter's safety. Helena said, as a mother, I would be so angry at the person who claims I would knowingly put my children in danger. But as your mum, Luthor, I just don't want you to feel angry or bitter inside because of the situation we are in with King Janos. Helena said, I know you truly believe that the king is out to hurt us. Just, ellipsis, please, please, Trust that your father and I will never, ever let anyone hurt you or Ash. The lights dimmed around the courtyard and the area the participants are coming through lit up brightly. Helena looked at Luthor, but Luthor avoided his mom's gaze. Helena said, I'm going to go greet Scarlet and Sol first before I introduce them to our family. She motioned for Model 1 to follow her, but Model 1 Helena gave. Luthor looked at his parents. She motioned for Model 1 to follow her, but Model 1 didn't move. Model 1, please follow my mom and do as she says. Helena gave both Ash and Luthor a kiss on the head before rejoining Julius with Model 1 following behind her. Luthor looked at his parents. Mom, Dad, I'm sorry. Luthor looked, Mom, Dad, I'm sorry. I can't just wait around and let you handle things with Janos. Luthor lowered his gaze. Because I think you both will fail. Ash reached up to Luthor's face with both chubby hands and made happy baby sounds.
Oh, Ash, oh my gosh.
I need to speak with the time manipulator, Ash. Our ancestor is the very first human who made his way into Valencia. I'm sure he won't like what Janos is doing to us.
Sure, yeah.
But the only way to speak with the time manipulator is to die, apparently.
I don't know what I think about this guy. Like, he's asking Luthor to die. Okay, I know I can turn back time. But Luthor doesn't know that, and I don't know, seems like a tall order.
Ash made fussy baby sounds. Luthor looked. Ash made fussy baby sounds. Luthor looked deep into Ash's big purple eyes. Don't worry, Ash. I'll find a way to get Chrono's help that doesn't involve me dying. Luthor looked down at Ash's scar. What will happen to your scar if I die, Ash? What will happen to our family? I'm not going to leave you alone knowing Janos is still after us humans. Not to mention that psycho Dr. Fulgur is lurking around too. I'm not going anywhere. Ash stopped wiggling, touched Luthor's chin and made happy baby sounds again. Luthor smiled, but looked sad. Don't grow up yet, Ash. I don't want you to grow up feeling like a prisoner. I'm going to set us free, Ash. We'll be able to go wherever we want, do whatever we like and be whoever we want to be. Luthor hugged Ash tightly. I'm sorry, Ash. I'm sorry, Ash. I haven't been a good brother to you. Promise you won't grow up loving me? I might never figure out how to be a good brother and I don't want to hurt you. Luthor looked at his parents in the distance. Julius had one arm around Helena and was rubbing her arm.
Yeah,
Model 1 floated next to Helena, but was looking at Luthor. People tend to get hurt when they love me. Luthor arched his brows. Ash's head seemed to shake in a side-to-side motion, as if disagreeing. Luthor, don't be so stubborn, okay, Ash? System mess. It doesn't seem like Luthor's willing to die to talk to you. Red text person. 1 of 4. Why are you holding out and speaking with Luthor? Red text person. Do you intend to help him or not? I'm concerned when you seem so calm when thinking about dying. 3 of 4. Why? The script. Promise me you'll love Ash. 4 of 4 response.
Okay guys, well, leaving it a set of responses again. I think this video is long enough. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and please like it if you did, and consider subscribing to become a fellow Timecrestian. See you next time, and let's see what happens with these Ignis siblings. I do not know what to expect, and I'm curious. Bye.